Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Phoenix here, back from the dead. I hope everyone's well. It's Championship Manager Super League, and we're live. We're starting a new season. Hope everyone's excited, and I'm delighted to introduce straight away not just one guest, who I'll introduce first, Mr. Ian Edwards. How are you doing, sir?
Hello. Yeah, I'm doing well, thanks, mate. How are you?
I'm good. But also, we've got a second guest, the one and only former Fulchester manager. It's Maka. How you doing, mate?
Hello,
you okay?
Hello, boys. I'm back. I'm very well, thank you. How is everybody associated with the chairmanship of chairmans?
I think it's so far so good, but it's game week one. So who knows what to expect. Thank you both for coming on and keeping me in support for this evening, because I was a little bit unsure about how it would go. Evening to Rick Millington up the Dragons, and evening to Steve and Dimble. Thank you all for coming along. I think I'll give people a couple more minutes, and if anyone could just give us a thumbs up in the chat the audio and all that. All the audio and all that stuff is working okay. Tato just messaged me, I think, saying YouTube chat is disabled, can't comment. But then I'm seeing loads of chats come through on YouTube, so that might be a Tato problem. Can anyone in the chat verify?
Yeah, I've just posted a message there. It should be okay. Maybe Tato's using up all his internet bandwidth by having multiple databases running at the same time.
Who knows? All good, right, from Duggan. Thank you very much, Doug. Right, let's go straight into it. The new season. We're kind of going to go to each team as we come to them. I said we're going to put Bostock Swanley versus Haggis on first, because I know Swan's got a early night. Ian, do you want to have a chat through Swan's team? His first. Welcome to the league, Swan, as well. Chat through his first team out there tonight, and you think of his business. What you think of his season ahead?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the business isn't particularly his business yet, is it? I don't know what he's done with any other managers, or he even knows who's got anything left. But I think he wants to have a look at who he's got first before he does too much. I think the nice thing for him is, I mean, first of all, what a great addition to the league. He's a top lad, and now he actually doesn't have to compromise on what he wants to do. And we find a little bit more sensible stuff going on because he's fully responsible for it. It's over the course of 20 odd games rather than dipping in, dipping out. So actually, to look at the personnel, I think the one that stands out for me, Ricardinho, on his own in the middle, doesn't seem to be a particularly a regular thing. So, I mean, that's quite an obvious one. I've made inquiries about a couple of guys here, and he obviously fancies them because they're straight into the team, and the spine's really good. I think we know how good the likes of Montella are, so it's just a case of whether he's got a decent David Collins or not to fire.
Indeed. Maka, I will hand it over to you to Haggis. And Rox again has been the businessman in the transfer market. Camp, Santos, Gomez, Helguera, Deisler, Morientes, Mendes, Ezekiel Gonzalez, Diego Tristan are the incoming, and this is how they line up tonight. What do you think? This is the purist from Game Week 1, and I believe it's what do you call it? It's an Ian Edwards. It's an Ian Campbell tactic and lineup.
And a reference to how players are scouted, I'm led to believe. Lots of Latin sort of themed players brought in there, and none of which particularly stand out to me, to be honest. But with that said, Rox does have an infinitely better understanding and knowledge of the database than I do. So I've no doubt the vast majority of these players will be a success. Interesting lineup. I think Haggis moving away from the sort of 2-1-4-1-2, which was pretty successful last time, a bold move. But obviously the two lads in defensive midfield are absolute workhorses. So, yeah, should be an entertaining game. Prediction 2-2.
2-2. Anything from you, Ian?
I was going to say 2-2, but I might just say home win by 1 goal just to be a bit different.
No worries. Well, evening, everyone. I can see that Swan's in bed. Dimble's here, and I think I've got that working. Do you mean... No, obviously not. Let's see. The alternative is this, but it's covering the bottom of the screen, Dimble. So I'm just going to go with the traditional, if you know what I mean. I've lost to explain that to the lads. Yeah, we're all right. So evening to everyone. It's game week. It's game week 1 of season 13.
Campbell will remind us how many scored.
Say that again, sorry.
I was saying, I'm sure Ian Campbell will remind us minute by minute of how many he scored, regardless.
I'm sure he will. Right, I'm going to try not to click on anyone, Ian, and let's go. Looks like Haggis has started the quickest.
You can do it on anyone else's game, mate, just not mine.
Giggs into the box. Rio Ferdinand getting mentioned, as is Morientes. Flying through. Mario Yepes went on a bit of a run then for Bostock. 19 minutes gone. Hornshaw, Montella involved. Let's see a fine save there, I think, from David Collins. Ibrahim Said puts one over. Bostock definitely having chances. That's Montella again there. 42 minutes gone. We approach half time. David Collins picks up a booking. Wow. It seems like it's a bit back and forward. Rossini went close towards the end there, and it's 3-1 for both sides. Looks relatively tight. Nothing too much to report. I'm just going to let Swan have a look at his condition and ratings, see if he wants to make any subs. Maka, do you want to comment on Bostock there?
I mean, pretty average across the board, isn't it? Not many passes strung together. I imagine it's going to be the same on the Haggis side, but not really sure what he would need to change it up. I'd probably go Jacques for Collins initially, and that's maybe it. Not really sure what else you're doing, and maybe Patsat for Gerrard, but you don't want to make too many changes all at once, do you?
No, you don't want to shoot your
Fix
load.
on. I just don't feel like Collins is going to do much, but correct.
Fair enough. No worries. So I'm just looking in the chat. I can see that Swan's going quickly. I appreciate that. Pat says coming on for Ricardinho, and that is it. Pat says where's Ricardinho?
Okay, yeah.
He's in a 6 there. Okay. Okay.
Pat's
and
with
then
the forward
Haggis,
arrow intrigues me because isn't he a defensive midfielder?
I think he can play all over, to be honest with you, Pat. That's like I think anywhere on the right hand side, centre midfield or defence.
Sorry, Ryan. I get the impression you're trying to rattle through all this, so I'll be quiet.
No, not at all, mate. Not at all. I'm just conscious that I don't want to. Yeah, crack on, mate. Crack on. Ian, any thoughts on Haggis?
It felt It felt like a bit quite haggisy that first half. I thought I did it 3-1 each sort of shots and on target surprised me because it felt like Haggis were a little bit ahead. I mean, Juan Gomez, who I think he pointed out was going to be the third best DM of the season, didn't he? He's got to pull his socks up second half because he's not making tackles, he's not getting on the ball, and he's not making any headers. Maybe he just hasn't been needed, and maybe if he is called into action second half, he might raise his game.
Right, fair enough. Yeah, Juan Gomez. Obviously, I don't know if Macro, you're too aware that he's been the next Jesus Christ, according to the lads from Scotland.
Yes, I believe the term Ian used was he will be ripping the league or something like that. I mean, I'm not down with this Edinburgh speak, but I assume that means he'll do well, or he's predicted to do well.
The only thing I've got there is that we're swapping Michelini and Gomez around to see if that has any big impact. I'll kick off the second half. I'm not trying to rattle through it, Mac. I'm just trying to make sure we don't fall behind. There's a yellow card there. Pat Sexoglu picked up a yellow.
No worries. I do have him like the sound of my own voice.
No.
I get the feeling the Ricardinho thing might have been an experiment because I think he started one of his cup games with Pat Sexoglu in that central role with that little arrow, didn't he?
He did. And here we are at 60 minutes. Let's see if Swanley wants to make any changes. Montella still on a 6. Everyone's condition seems okay. Would you roll the dice here, Ian, or?
No, I felt like they were coming back into it a little bit there. I'd probably let the game play itself out. I mean, Collins for Jacks is the only thing that I would perhaps do. Other than that, you're not bringing Montella off for Tomadeira, are you? And then you're left with a keeper. So
yeah, I tend to agree.
Slide.
Not many key passes completed, just the one from Saeed. 5 yellow cards on the pitch, which is a bit of a danger. I've been told not my call, so I might if I'll wait till what Haggis says. But Swan, let us know soon as, mate. Wing backs up, yeah.
He asked them, Ryan. He said in the chat, wing backs up to wing and arrows all the way. Jacques on for Collins, and finally Tomad or Montella.
Oh,
okay. Jacques on for Collins and Tomad on for Montella. Thank you, Mac. Appreciate that. I think that's what he means, so I'm going to go with that. Kitchen sink stuff according to Ian. Aren't sure picking up already, says Martin. Leave it as Rock said. Looking at Haggis, waiting for any changes from them. Looking at 6s, we've got Juan Gomez has come up from a 5 to a 6. Mac Davica on a 6 as well. Few players on 80s, but not too bad. We've got a few more key passes in there. Would you be changing anything here? Macca?
Yeah, I'd probably go in Figo for Madavikia, and I'd probably chuck Shearer on for Rossini, maybe.
So Figo for Macadivia. I don't know his name. I'm going to call him Medi. Figo for Medi is correct.
Oh yeah, that's what he said. Sorry.
That's come from Ian, mate. It's come from Ian, not from me.
By the way, if the rest of it does want one of the Big Four Hall of Fame consultancy.
What do you make of Alf's face in the background, Mac? Have you noticed that?
Just chuckling away at that. It looks like that Figo gets the seal of approval, doesn't
he? I mean, I'd love to know how you've done it from a technological standpoint, but also I feel like that's probably one of the more friendlier images we might see throughout the season.
Well, yeah, there's a few have been sent which I've not actually uploaded yet, but you should have about 9 or 10 in here which aren't on the original game. I think this is one from the original game.
One night I want Rob on comms and just full Rob Marshall gallery.
I've got one of Mr. Edwards playing table tennis, actually. Mario Yepes injured, and he's used all his subs. That is unfortunate. I would potentially put Saeed back and Gerard middle. I'm going to wait for Swan to confirm that. What would you do, Ian?
Yeah, I'd be tempted to go with that. I think I might go one further and probably bring Pat Sexoglu back and maybe drop Jacques into centre mid or Dyer into centre mid and Jacques right wing. I don't fancy that triangle 3 by themselves, even though they are at home. I think it might cost them the game.
Well, Mr. Swan disagrees.
I'm with you on that one, Ian. I'd probably go Dyer middle, Jacques right wing, and maybe just shove 2 up top.
Well, Swan has said, yeah, perfect, and he's the man that counts. Ian, can you confirm to me, does that mean that Haggis are allowed to change, or does that mean we rock on?
No, it's only from a red card, wouldn't it? Not from an injury.
Right, no worries, I'll crack on then, mate. And then
Someone
we'll move.
in the chat's probably going to correct me now. I mean, my memory's not what it was, but I think that's right.
So Haggis effectively playing against 10 men due to the injury after all the subs has been made. No goals as yet, though. Looks like it's still going both ways. Morientes having chances. I'm going to slow it down for the last 10, 15 minutes or so. Khan having a blinder, says Duggan. Only for a red, surely, as Martin. So that gives me a bit of confidence. Thank you for that, Ian. Okaronko chipped and picked up a booking. I think that might be the first or the second yellow for Haggis. Skulls to Giggs, shadowed by Antro. Side winning everything in the air. Here's Michelini into the area. Giggs on the volley, and Khan again with the save. Looks like Khan might be on for a big score here. Figo, Juan Gomez, Morientes, Sava, high and wide. Feel free to chip in, lads.
Well, I don't know. You keep cutting us off. You're in a rush.
Not you, Mac. Ian, I'm talking to.
Do you know what? 0-0's not a bad result here unless I put commentator's curse on it.
Oh,
and
that's the final whistle. We've got what have we got here? Mr. Pyongyang Pool Party saying what a classic start to the season. Cheers, Campbell. Always a pleasure, Robbo. Let's get this thing, got the stats up. And kind of as we expected, I think, from the comms there, 7 shots on target for Bostock to 14 from Haggis. Off target, that is. Well, shots in total, that is. Haggis definitely on top, but it not coming through in the result. No goals. Sander Vesterveld on an 8, Oliver Khan on the 9, but it's Ibrahim Saeed of Bostock who picked up the man of the match. It seemed like that, yeah, Haggis did everything but score. And what a start to the new season, Mackie.
Yeah, absolutely. This is why they put Shearer on, though. I think they just needed something different up top. I think that's not a bad result for Haggis. Not losing away from home is key in this league, as pretty much everybody knows. Swan off to a good start as well, really. I think he's a lot to build on from Bostock last season. So, yeah, not a bad result for either team.
No worries. Conscious, I'm going to put Aston a little bit later. Apologise, Stinky, but he's probably still watching the Mighty Wanderers beat Accrington. Is anywhere anyone wants to go to? Probably Fulchester and Northern Burn until later as well. So we've got a bit Gazelles versus Tortuga. That sound like a game that we want to see?
Not particularly, but go on then.
Right, let's go to Gazelles. Where's Gazelles?
Do you know what? A question for Champman Dan, manager of Gazelles. Does he now still hate Fulchester, irrespective of the change of management? You know, so is that rivalry locked in, or was it more of a manager thing?
Oh, interesting. I was unaware of this.
So if you check his Twitter bio, he's like, it's something like trainer shagger, kitchen connoisseur, hate Fulchester, or something like that. Attack and win.
What about you now? You've left Acker. How do you feel about them?
How do I feel about Gazelles? I'm not particularly bothered because they won't do anything. There's 4 other teams that are massively superior, so they're not even a blot on my. I'll be honest with you, I forgot they existed.
Chapman Dan is saying yes.
It was never about the manager. Okay, good lad. Then Ryan, you have to hate Gazelles for no reason other than they just exist.
We did do a nice deal.
Our C-suite ultras lob prawns at away games. Tesco's finest king size wash prawns or whatever they are, but that's what we do.
Not the Iceland prawn spoons, no.
No, that's for the team bus as they arrive.
We did do a nice bit of transfer business with Dan at Gazelles. So Seedorf went from Fulchester to Gazelles. Nedved went the other way. One of a few big signings that Gazelles have done. Nicky Ferenko, Rui Costa, 2 that are standing out to me. I'm also a big fan of Paolo Vanoli. He's done well for me on home saves as well. Players he's lost, kind of big names. You got to say Javier Saviola to Northern Burn, Nedved. I hope he's a big name at Fulchester. yeah, potentially Claudio Pizarro scored a lot of goals. This is how he lines up tonight. I'm still with you, Mako. What do you reckon of this?
Do you know what? I think he's got a lot more balance now to the team by bringing Seedorf in. I mean, I think he was playing Rivaldo and Nedved, and he had that sort of left footers in midfield and whatnot. In his cup game.
Do you reckon of Dimble in the background there, giving the big hoof?
Is it? Or is that what I thought he was? What position does Dimble play? I just imagined him as a beast of a centre half. Like, I'm sure I asked him this in Edinburgh, but
he looks like he's curling a free kick in the top corner there. Like,
he might be top bins. And is that Swanee? Oh, yeah, Swanee's absolutely good-looking, lethal forward, isn't he?
Oh yes, what a legend this.
Well, anyway, yeah. So for Gazelle, I think they've got a lot more balance now. Actually, looking at that team, I think it's really, really good bringing Mendieta and Seedorf in. That midfield's probably one of the best in the league for me. It's 3 players I really like as well. I can't see many weaknesses in the squad, maybe up top, but then again, they didn't score many last season, so it'll be interesting to see if Dan does anything different to try and get a few more goals out of him. So over to Ian now for the absolute dosser team of the league.
Yeah, so first off, the transfer business, Ian. He's done Novotny and Tomasi with George Yatos and Zayalias with you, I believe. Also brought in Lucio and Rosicky. Obviously, I think the main thing that we can talk about, he's brought in Beckham as well, yeah. The main thing we can talk about is the fact that he's got so few strikers. What do you make of his lineup tonight, though?
I like his team, and I like the balance of it. I think he's a little bit like I've been in certain seasons where you've got you're on the knife edge of losing a couple of players and you haven't necessarily got the cover. I mean, if you're talking that the Nielsen's your striker on the bench tonight, you're more likely to try and shuffle around to put Del Piero up there if anything happens to Trezeguet. So you're looking at getting creative rather than having ready-made guys on the bench. I'm not sure about Fiore there, but just having Fiore in the team is generally a bonus for you, because he just like I've always banged on about, he just plays in winning teams, and he just trots out 6s and 7s and helps you over the line in 1s and 2-0s. So I like it. I just think that he needs to keep all his players away from the treatment table.
Yeah, that's a good fair point. He doesn't have much going forward if he does pick up a few injuries. Mako, you played Saturday?
No. I'm just saying I used to play Saturday League, but that's purely because I had a long throw. I wasn't good at much else. As we were talking Saturday League sales and whatnot.
Fair enough. Quick predictions from you guys before I go to kick off.
Gazelle's 2-1.
Yeah, I'm just about to say the same again, but I'll go different and I'll go 1-1 just because I don't want to be the same.
Do you know what? Can I raise a general point here, Ryan, as you kick the game off? I think we need to openly talk about potentially the decline of Peter Greaves. We got an absolute tune. Yeah, he got an absolute tune out of nothing in his first ever season in Super League. It was the worst squad I've ever seen. And yet, since then, he somehow managed to put better and better teams together and finish lower and lower in the league. And I can't quite get my head around how he builds an entire squad over a transfer strategy, carefully cultivated as well, it seems. And then 3 games in with 0 points, he panics and goes completely different. And that's when silly transfers happen in the league and Ian Edwards ends up with everybody's best players.
I think the one thing with Greaves is as well, when he won it and when he was sticking to his guns, he wasn't changing a lot. And even when he came in and did a few games for Kieran, it was he wasn't budging on anything, but he chops and changes probably a little bit too much now, rather than letting, he reacts to a defeat very quickly. If he just lets those sort of little runs ride out and stick to his guns, I think he's all right. But it's easier said than done. We've all been there.
Right. Yeah, indeed. Sorry, mate. I'm just trying to concentrate on
no, it's fine. I'm going to stop predicting goals. This could be the worst opening night of Super League ever. Not much going on. Reasonable amount of passes strung together. Surprised at the amount of 6s, actually, given that statistically a lot of the numbers aren't that bad. Not sure how he changes it up. I'd maybe be looking to drop Davids into DM, get rid of Gattuso because he's a walking red card, as much as I love him. Nielsen in that sort of AM LFC type role. He's not. I don't know who Marcin Bajazinski is. So he's no forward on the bench. He's really light at forward, isn't he?
Martin Basinti's a decent fullback, I think, but that's all he is. And in terms of what Greavesy will do, Dan's gone as is. Looks like I think he's on top and his team are all fit. Greavesy isn't here, so we're kind of rolling as is. I think he's got an early morning, so
Okay.
I mean, good luck to both teams. I'll just do a quick shout out to a few people in the chat. Evening Jens, evening Duggan, evening to Rick Millington. Nice to have you here, mate. And then well, hopefully 135 minutes in, we're going to start having some goals in the second half. So let's crack on. All right, Nicky Ferenko stayed off. Still looks like Gazelles have started out on top. And there's Didier Agat on his debut. Dimble said up with earlier that Agat will do wonders in that position. He's already got a goal there.
Yeah, I really like Agat as well. His stats don't actually look good for where he's playing, but he is somehow good at it. A bit like Mike Duff almost.
Yeah, I forgot to pause at 60. Obviously my first time.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at this point. Greaves ain't here anyway, and I don't think is Dan going to want to change it.
Well, I've just seen that Davids has got one back, so he's got 10 minutes left, and I've got to give him the opportunity. So, Dan, if you do want to continue as you are, then that's fantastic. If you don't, then I'll click on to the end, or I'll slow it down, actually, because there's a little bit in it. Greaves, he's got 6s and 7s, nothing too spectacular. Davids and Fiore potentially worry about, but, I mean, unless they get injured, I'm not going to change anything there.
Nicky Ferenko, I'm surprised he's just sat without an arrow, actually. I thought he may have had a forward arrow because his dribbling and whatever stats are pretty good, aren't they?
Yes, and he looks like he's a bit of a beast on this save as well. I think it's the thing when he's playing the one striker and the AM behind. You don't really want the guy running into him. That's my kind of view on that. Maybe Nicky Ferenko's in a free roll. Nothing much is happening at the end of this game. Here is Nicky Ferenko. Can't find a shot. Seedorf in on goal. Mendieta shoots. Hussein. Corner kick there. It's all Haggis. All Gazelles even. And there's the final whistle. And congratulations to Dan Unlucky to Greasy. 2-1 Gazelles. Agat, Hussein, maybe two unexpected goal scorers. Maybe not as much Hussein, but definitely Didier Agat. David's obviously a big name. Not your Maxim Pizalco, but a big player. And looking at that, though, it was definitely Gazelles' game, wasn't it? 12 shots, 8 on target versus 3 and 2. Let's have a quick look at
I'll be honest, I think it was always going to be. It was always going to be, right. Like they're so well balanced Gazelles, actually. I mean, I know I give them a bit of shit before the game, but that's a squad that if it stays fit will definitely be top 6. I think there's just a really nice looking balance to it and some smart business done by Dan there. I think begrudgingly said, but yeah.
Really solid fullbacks in. Arca getting man of the match, Agat getting the goal, assist came from Arca as well. Dario had a good game, 3 shots on target. Mendieta 5 and 3. Clarence stayed off 4 key passes, really good performance there. A quick look across the other side, Ian.
Well, I think what he's failed to do there is he's got these like 3 beasts at DMC, hasn't he? He's got Gattuso, Tomasi, and Davids, which really should have given license to Coco and Pancaro to do something, which they haven't done. And it's been the Gazelles fullbacks that have sort of dominated. Whereas I think it could have maybe been a bit more adventurous out wide with that sort of wall. And in the end, it's took one of those solid defensive players to go up and actually get a goal. So, yeah, maybe what we talked about at the start about him being a bit light up top could be an issue this season.
It could be. Sorry, I meant to be looking at the fixtures. PPP East Coast, that's what we're doing now. Right. Congratulations, Dan. I can see that it's 9 minutes of add-on time in the Accrington versus Bolton match. Bolton are 2-0 up, so hopefully that's the that one's over now. Pyongyang pool party. Macro, I'm going to start with you. Brought in a few big names in Shevchenko, Ambrosini,
some interesting
Smith.
business.
Anything that you want to comment on?
Shevchenko and Smith. Well, yeah, I mean, letting go of Zidane, I actually think is a bit mental, but there's a lot of talent in that forward line there. I'm just worried about the supply line. I mean, Smith, Shevchenko, Sahar, Brozek, there's a lot of players there with market value, with potential, but you've got a 17-year-old Makoko and Wellens supplying them.
I would
I know
point out that
Ambersini's not that creative player. They're kind of relying on Emerson a little bit.
Yeah, I get that completely.
It looks a very imbalanced squad. Like up top, brilliant. Rest of the team, not so much.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there. Completely agree with you. Georgie Costa's going to be captain. Rob, let me know quickly if you don't want that. We're going to go over to East Coast, last season's second place and finalist. I feel like they've strengthened in the summer as well. Mario Stanic has come in, as well as Volodenkov, just completely so versatile. Ebe-san, we know, can do business at this level. Mileski, solid as a rock. Brugink gets goals, has done for Swindon and Devils in the past. And I look at what he's lost. Willie Baumer's probably the big name. Apart from that, not really too many Super League starters. I say that, but Gazelles have just had a goal from a gap there. Any thoughts, Ian, on the lineup tonight in the business?
The business, I mean, I know Dimble kind of criticised himself a little bit, didn't he, for going a bit sideways. He wasn't able to get the guys in that he wanted, so he kind of did deals for the sake of doing deals and didn't really move his team forward, in his opinion. I don't think that's such a bad thing when they were as good as they were last season. And the spine of the team's still there, 2 centre-backs, absolute business end of the season keeper, second top goal scorer in the league, great AM, and Ortega when he brought in last season, what a signing he was. So the core of the 11's still there, and they're going to be top 2, top 3, no doubt.
There he is. There's the legend. He's joined the party. Let's proceed to the match. I think it's because of the way this is set up. That happens on home saves now. So
Oh, that's brilliant!
You can't just have it for a singular save. It's just like if you load players in, pitches in, then you get them all the time. So yeah, and when that pops up on a home save, right,
that's why all these lads are diving into home saves. It's not to actually trial and test; it's to look at Wolfie.
If this save ends up going tits up because we've got a couple of these pitches in of Wolfie, it'll be.
Well, it's not on the save. It's on my game. It's not going to be on anyone else's. Whoa, what a start! And not the best start for East Coast Cosmos and Dimble. Francesco Toldo, solid as a rock last season, not started off very well this evening. Obviously, David Day is going to come on, but who do you reckon it would be for, Ian?
For me, it's for Brugink. I don't see it being for Milevski or Vogel. I think that's the one that stands out for me straight away.
It's interesting he's not taking an Elker off.
Say that again, Macca, sorry.
I said it's interesting he's not taking an Elker off, given it's the most meditative state an Elker we've ever seen.
He's centralising Henry, no arrow. That's great. Yeah, Anelka has been pretty good, well behaved so far this save. That's I mean, why would you want to take him off if he's been well behaved? That's the thing, isn't it? Okay, no response there. David Day brought on to Arno Brugink.
He's at a big club, and he's playing.
I agree. And then so he's going to be. Dimble's just said in the chat he daren't take an Elker off. Maybe that's the trick to keeping him happy. He's just running into the ground every season.
Yeah, well, Mukoko did score the penalty, so the features did all right there. Ortega has bit back though. It looks like East Coast still look well in this. So Campbell, Ariel Ortega, Johan Vogel making names, and there's a goal from Nicky Anelka. Lucky he kept him on, Macca. Yep. Smith had the ball towards the end there for PPP, and despite being down to 10 men, it's still been all East Coast. 5 on target versus 1 on target. I don't know. Let's have a look at what he got. Shevchenko brought down by Todo in the area was the penalty. I'm going to go to Rob first and see if he wants to make any changes. Luis Aha on a 5. I wonder where he got him from. New season, same PPP, says Doug.
No, Rob's always been shit.
Anelka will put in a transfer request at half-time and be gone by the 70th minute, says Rick Millington. Saha for Brozek, please, is the substitution. I'll get good at this soon. I'm looking at the wrong team now. Let's go back. PPP. Saha for Brozek. And we continue. I don't think he's wants anything else. There's cheeky little Alf diving in there. Apart from Toldo on the 5, looks like a decent Verstappian for Dimble and his lads.
Bossed it. I mean, we weren't expecting that after the red card to the keeper, but you're playing against a team that had one shot on goal, and that was a pen. So yeah, not looking good at home against 10 men. 45 minutes to try and get it back, and with that advantage, they should do. But if you notice that, like when the league account asked who was going to win it, who was going to finish bottom, there was a flood of PPP for bottom, wasn't there? So can he turn it around? Not fancied. Can he prove everyone wrong?
Bore off, Edwards says, Mr. What do you call it, Mr. Marshall? I'm really out of practice on this, aren't I? I'll get better, I promise you, lads. So Rob, any changes at 60? He's going to roll with it and hope that a miracle happens. Dimble, let me know if you want to make any changes. I don't think I'd want to change anything if I was Dimble. I'd just be looking at this and thinking, I'm on top here. Why would I change any of this?
You just leave. I mean, the thing is, before all the, he invented the database shouts and all that stuff come in from certain corners of the community. Like fucking hell, Rob, what are you playing at here, son? What are you playing at? Just why sell your creative players in exchange for then strikers who won't have a ball? It won't matter. Coast will probably go and score 2 more now.
We only need 9 men, is the shout from the Coast fans. News. What's Jens saying here? New Super League Sports.
There's some infidel called Rick Millington in the chat, and I don't. That's not a real name, so I don't know what's going
on. Mr. Dimble.
Is he a double agent? Is he one of them Brazilians again?
We've had a few Brazilians, a few interesting names pop up every now and again, don't they?
There's always a clamour to claim them in the chat, isn't there? Straight away, people need to go from like 2. They need to get 3 fans rather than the 2 fans that they've currently got or something.
I think I spotted up in the chat is that I think he may be a dragon. I think he seems to be some connection with Wooder and Duggan. Right. Which so he's already got a lot on his plate if that's the case. So yeah, right. Dimble's saying pray for me, and he's just saying Lus at DMC. What for who? It's a red card, mate. I can't just bring him on.
Yeah, it's a red card, Dims. So you're bringing him on for Henri? I'm just keeping a tab on YouTube chat. Yeah,
has to be Henri, doesn't it?
Anelka, I did put it.
I can't see Anelka.
Oh, he did. Yes,
right,
he did. Sorry, yeah, he said Anelka for Henri IMC with arrow. Sorry, I didn't see that. I've only got 5 lines of YouTube viewing.
Lus at DMC, and then arrow on Henri.
I'm still on an iPhone 7, Dimble, because I've got little lines. It's just a small screen.
Perfect. Sorry about that, Dimble. We're going to continue. Hi, Wolfie. and I think Rob can change it now if he wants to, because it's a red card. He's behind the text here, but I believe that I know that's Tato in the background.
Yeah, it's Tato, isn't it?
Get my DML arrows up, and Wellens Mukero forward arrows to where? That would you say that's what he wants there?
I don't have the chat up. Can't tell you.
Yeah, that is what he's instructed, but he's not yet confirmed beyond that. I'd be having a backward up. Yeah, he says yep. I don't know if that's a Korean word for yes or not, but there you
go. Right, let's continue, and hopefully we'll see what. If I'm going to slow this down, I think I know it's already 10:10, but let's crack on. Hoffman backing into Brozek. Dubious decision there. David Day in possession now. Hoffman, listen, Hoff. Coast still in possession. Only need 9 men. Is the chance continuing? Salihamidzic this time for PPP, runs at Volodenkov. Mukoko. Ball upfield. I mean, it just doesn't look like there's going to be a goal. Yeah, if it looks like East Coast might get another against with only 9 men, but I don't think we have to pray for you here, Dimble. I think we just have to pray for Rob, what he might do to his team.
However, I do want to see that Nicholas Anelka was unhappy at being substituted. News items tomorrow.
Yeah. And there it is, 92 minutes ago. Yeah, I think I'll say, I'll quote actual Rob Marshall here, wank. Yeah, absolute wank from them. Congratulations, Dims, unlucky. Yeah, match stats even against 9 men, only managed 2 shots on target versus the 6 from East Coast. East Coast stats looking strong in.
Absolutely fantastic. They've had loads of the ball, which you're going to expect when they're outnumbering their opposition. We didn't see it coming, did we, after the first 7 minutes? Ortega, as we sort of said, brilliant signing back end of last season. And I think, like, you know, putting him where he puts him in that MR role was an inspired shout, really, because, I mean, you could have had him in a number of positions. And Mark Kerr, a few people thought when we were sticking him in on his own, centre mid, bossing it.
Indeed. At least I have my CMs back next match. Can't wait for another pumping, says Mr. Rob Macker. What do you reckon you would do if what do you call it, if you were managing PPP? Apart from the obvious.
I'd send me a DM begging for me tactic files like Steve Wright did a couple of seasons back.
Mackenzie Martin says, surprised no manager asked to go with direct or long passing after red cards. And I say, and you might see this a bit from me this season, but on home saves, I'm very much a man who sometimes goes for the I go from attacking to normal, and I put men behind the ball if I lose a man and I'm winning, just to try and close up the shop.
I would have thought a few managers not knowing that they're allowed to do that, or not knowing whether they are or not allowed to do that.
I thought, from my understanding of rejoining it, that if you get a red card, you can mess around with things. Fifey invented that possibility.
Do you know what, for a long time during my stint in Super League, I actually played direct passing, and it seemed to work all right. I'll be honest with you, I think a lot of the short mixed hard, or whatever it is not as great as everybody thinks.
So this is Doug in here. Fifey invented that as a possibility in the playoffs last season, Martin, but it's never been a thing like def or not. All right, so we'll probably need to. We'll not do that tonight, and we'll have to clarify it before the next show whether that is allowed or not. Right, we move on. Fixtures that we've got tonight. Yeah, let's get Jens on. Jens on versus Northern Burn. Are you ready for this, Ian? You're not going to be.
Oh no! Well, sorry, I meant a picture of Jens in it. That I didn't mean.
Oh, it is Jens. Yeah, that's sexy.
I don't want to play him, no. But I mean, if you don't want me on last, I'm happy to go on whenever.
I'll put you on in a bit, Ian. I'll keep that going there. Tato, I think he's back in the house. He's saying it was fucking Centre Parks banning me from commenting. So I think he's just arrived. I think he's up in Cumbria at Centre Parks. Well, I know he's up in Cumbria at Centre Parks. Let's do Dragons White Rose. Doug's big business in the summer. A couple of out-of-leaguers, not much mentioning. NDI, Ehiog, Lizarazu, the big names coming in. Zidane as well, as Mac has mentioned. Interesting business. He's lost some big players. He lost Roy Keane, lost big Franny Jeffers, Casillas and Gerrard have both left as well. And he actually did a cash deal for David Prutton with me, which I'm eternally grateful. I know Wood not too happy. However, tonight he starts without Keon, who was great last season for him, NDI, who just signed, and Simiawak and Zidane. So we'll see how he gets on. Ian, I'll stick with you and look at Hodgie there in the background. Look at his cute little whatever how old he is there face. He sent me that picture as a kind of sports picture of him on the background.
What sports he playing there?
He's got a football in his hand. So
Right.
I had to crop it so it was just him really, because I thought I'm not putting a picture of a school up.
Ryan, Duggan, sorry to interject, lads. Duggan's requested Nesta as skipper, if you can, please.
Yeah, I will do. Don't worry. I spotted that.
It's a class team, that, though, isn't it? not much has changed from last season there because not much had to change that run that they were on. Pure is in, I guess. Lizara's a new signing, so they've shifted Lee Young Pure over just because they've got maybe one or two that can't play. Undai. Be interesting to see where that carries on or not. But the rest of it's great, isn't it?
Yeah. No.
I'm surprised Kaluzhny or Tudor's not playing instead of Young Pure, though, actually. But
Tudor, do you play him that high up the pitch? I generally play him in the back line, Tudor, rather than.
no, yeah, well, I mean, Fourier getting a game over Kaluzhny and Tudor is quite interesting to me. And by interesting, I mean nonsense. But what do I know? I don't download the database and explore it for hours, and anyone with a brain would do it. Yada yada yada, whatever. Fuck off.
Duggan wants us to click on Mark Vivian for rest in peace. We'll do that at the start of the game. White Rose brought in Abiati from Fulchester on a cash deal, Macca, so I had to get rid of the twat. Pizarro,
What fucking mugs do you?
Van Bronckhorst, Raoul, and then who's he lost? He's lost Nicky Butt, Madman, made an offer. He's lost Nicky Franco, Joe Cole, Lucio, and even Dario Hussein, who got the goal tonight. And this is what he's gone with tonight. I think this is a strong 11 to the person that didn't answer the last question. Who just talked through Duggan then? The Dragons then?
Well, I'm talking about the midfield, but Ian, you take this one if you want, mate. I've done plenty of yapping.
He's strong by default, isn't he? I mean, he's done loads of deals, and you could question whether he's come out the right end or not. But the fact that he started with one of the best squads going means he's got a lot of seasons to get through before he ends up with a weak team. So, I mean, by default, he's still going to have a strong team. So you're really talking nuances and the calls that he's made. So Van Bronckhorst centre-mid on his own stands out. You know, it'd be interesting to see whether he does well in that position. No reason why he can't. I mean, it's great, isn't it? He's got Zauri off me. He should come in and do really well. I know a couple of lads prefer him on the left wing back rather than right wing back. For me, because he can play both, he was ideal for the bench. And then I feel as though he's missing. Is he missing someone at centre back there? Hence Perry coming in, and you've got that like quite nice little combo of Perry and Terry, haven't you? Which just looks nice.
Yeah, Perry and Terry is a comedy lineup at the back there. Lasisi is injured, so I think he would be.
Lasisi comes in, doesn't he, at some point?
You'd expect so.
Gary Neville should be getting a game. Gary Neville is phenomenal. Gary Neville's won many a Super League.
Definitely won two. He's definitely won two.
Yeah, so more than one.
I started maxing for Hools the day he died. That's Jens there talking about your comment, Macca, that you shouldn't play people. Wait, look at that picture in the background there. I imported the Toto Scalacci. What absolute legend. Patrick Vieira is going to be captain. Steve, I don't think he's available tonight, Steve, for whatever reason. Absolute disrespect showing to the league by not turning up for game week 1. Twat. The Jamie Hodson Memorial Ground. Predictions, gents?
Dragons comfortably.
3-0. No, 3-1.
3-1. And Macca's going Dragons comfortably. Let's kick this off. Oh, yellow card early doors there. I thought there might have been a red early on. And Roy Mackay has been injured. Stephen Wright is there. Even Stephen, nice that you actually decided to join us. Thank you very much, mate. Nothing really much has happened this early doors. Everyone's on a 6. I imagine all conditions are solid, apart from Roy Mackay, who's injured. The obvious change is Julian Guerrero. Let me know if that's sorry, Santa
Cruz, he says. Yep. Oh, you can see it as well, can't you? Yeah, wonderful thing, the internet, isn't it?
It's all right. Yeah, I don't mind it. I'm just going to leave it like that. If you want me to change position,
you must admit.
I'm surprised. I mean, he's got an attacking midfielder, but he's put a striker there. Right, I'm going to continue. I was the first to comment. You melt.
You always are.
He's been talking all week about how excited he is. I've been surprised if he wasn't here.
He's lucky that I'm logged in on the Super League account and not my own. Otherwise, he'd be getting the spanner in his own game. 14 a.m. All right, so he's obviously been on the editor Macca and checking how good he is. It's a bit of Dragons here, Lizarazu going forward.
It's just a bit sad, all that, isn't it? Like neglecting your kids to look at Excel. Like, I fucking look at Excel all day long. I don't want to do it when I come home. It's the main reason I left the league. I can't be arsed with it. Who wants to spend 18 hours a day looking at Excel? Grow up.
I don't do it. Never have done it.
You don't need to. You've got Sigalco.
Well, I mean, that varies. I mean, it's up to the people how much time they want to put into it. I know Tato's on his second run through of doing a kind of test season, having to guess people's tactics. Dragons one shot on target in the first half versus White Rose 2. Very, very close. Not much action. Let's go to the melt that is Steve Wright first. Not bad ratings, and he'll be pretty happy with that one in Macca.
Yeah, reasonably average. Clean sheet so far against a normally rampant Dragon side, or at least they were back in the last season. Yeah, slight worries about the yellow cards at the centre halves, as you've just pointed out. Although I'm not convinced he will change anything, or there feels a need to change anything. I mean, Dede has been absurdly quiet, but other than that, I'd probably roll as is, to be honest.
He's doing just that until at least 60. Evening to Savage, who's joined us, mate. I've been holding off on Astaboo's turn until you arrive, so you've still got that to look forward to. Ian, Dragons not really breaking much of a sweat, are they? In all nearly perfect condition, but also not acting much of a threat on goal.
No, but you've got that sort of lineup of quality, haven't you, where they won't be panicking because they know they've got individuals who can just do something at the drop of a hat, and that's what usually makes the difference for them. You've got those two guys behind Constantine, who one of them you think is going to pop up with something. So yeah, he won't be panicking, despite 3 or 4 of them not touching the ball hardly.
I tend to completely agree with you there. Macca and Tato's having a go at golf in the chat there. I don't know if you noticed.
Yeah, I was just like to say, I'm literally just trying to type it now. Everyone taking it personally, syringes. So funny. Fucking teachers. Have you got time?
So I don't think much happened there. We got to 60 already. I'm just going to stick with Dingy. Won't do any changes. Can see Ronaldinho's down 85. Would that bother you, Macca, 85 with half an hour to go?
Yeah, probably would actually. But again, you know, and I mean this as a genuine point. The lads who've put the research in and devoted the time to getting better at the game will know more about what that means and potential consequences than I do. Plus, I'm not sure what you can actually do with Maniero. I mean, would you chuck him in and play 2 up top at that point? I'd be inclined to maybe, I'd be inclined to maybe leave it, but you know, Duggan knows best.
Duggan knows best. Swap Vieira and GB put an hour of it. So I've not even clicked on you yet, Steve. So just pipe the fuck down, mate. Tato is talking about his 25 weeks of holiday a year, and that his day finishes at 3:30. Does all his lessons.
I know it doesn't. I know it doesn't for these poor teachers. I'm well on their side in terms of striking and whatever. But now you've got to ask the question: are Duggan and Tato, you know, really high up in the NUT and have coordinated these strikes purely to try and win Super League?
It wouldn't surprise me.
Not then. No, if it was two other teachers in Super League, I wouldn't even think about a conspiracy theory. But those two, you've got to ask.
You've got to ask. Right, a couple of changes there. We've seen Collision and Maniero come on, and kind of those. The chat's weird. It just kind of slits in sometimes, and you don't spot it. And then let's log over to White Rose, who everyone looks all right. Obviously, Ryan Mackay there, but he has made a change already. Vieira and GBP put an arrow on. Swap Vieira and GBP. Put an arrow on GBP.
Duggan said already led 1 coup this year. That's enough. It's not though. Duggan's a power hungry man. He loves it.
Can you confirm that, Steve? Right, sorry, mate. And then Macca continues. Sorry, I just want Steve to confirm that. Ian, do you want to confirm that? I mean, is that what he means?
I'm not. So I'm not in the chat. I don't know what he means. I'd be.
All right. Swap Vieira and GVP and put an arrow on.
I would have thought he'd have left it because they're edging this, aren't they? I don't know why he's bothering tweaking.
He can't help but twitch. He honestly can't help but twitch. I mean, he'll lose the game. Yeah, it looks like it's been all Dragons since.
This is proper enemy of my enemy is my friend type game, isn't it?
Ronaldinho, Maniero at the shot, blocked by Vieira. Perry to Terry to Kaladze. Van Bronckhorst going forward. Looks like it's back and forward here. I mean, not many goals tonight, is there? 85 minutes gone, or near enough. Abiati kicking it away. Perry to Vieira. Riz Raul goes past Foe. Looks like it's White Rose still edging it, even after those chances. Roy Mackay were just found dead. One of my fave Carol songs. Okay. I'm not sure I get that reference there, Dims.
I mean, is Abiati playing for Steve?
I know, it's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I think he averaged 3.7 for me last season.
Well, he's never going to play for Fulchester again, Macca. That's something you can sleep well tonight, mate. Sleep well. And it's still going, this game. I feel like it's going on forever.
Yeah, not looking tomorrow. I've got a tea time at 10 to 12 because some people like hitting a ball with a stick, etc.
And we have another 0-0. Dragons, 9 shots, just 2 on target. White Rose, 8 shots, 5 on target. It felt like in the text, White Rose had the best of it, but I'll be honest with you, it never really felt like, to me, either team were going to score. Ian, do you want to kind of 5 yellow cards for Dragons? Do you want to sum their performance up?
Yeah, for Dragons, I think they've kind of the thing what they've done is it might be 0-0, but they've kind of bossed the tackle count, and when they get Ndai back in there to bump that up even more, they're going to control games more, and they just need those guys up top to start firing because they're going to be in charge of all these matches. I feel with Steve, he'd have took that point at the start, but it just felt like White Rose were the better team to me, and I think he'll be slightly disappointed he hasn't come away with everything there.
I don't think you're wrong there. Steve was good to stick with Perry and Terry. Didn't get another yellow card. Macca.
I completely agree. I completely agree. I think we're probably at the point in Super League now where we're over researched, and that explains the lack of goals. You might need to reintroduce Wib Wob to liven it up. Who knows? But White Rose definitely deserved something there. I mean, they've got a point away at Dragons, which this season will probably be a good exchange. But I'm looking forward to Steve's Lampardian have a dig. No, I'm only joking. Nah, still a dig type video in whichever office he does it in tomorrow.
I've no doubt that will be coming. Do you know what? They've popped up and Alf's in the background. I'm going to take that as a good luck thing.
It's not, though, is it?
So Macca, Fulchester, Moses Ciccone, Nedved, Zanetti, Crespo, Prutz have come in, Simeone as well. We've lost Ambrosini, Sadorf, West, Enrique, who had a great season for you last year. Obviously, Abiati was shipped out in wrapping paper and a bow. And we've got a few injuries to start the season. Peruzzi, Stam probably would have started, as would Raquel May. This is how I'm lining up, mate. What do you think?
Do you know what? I to be fair to you, this is not because obviously you're my mate and you've got my team, but you've done incredible business, sir. I think some of the offers you've made and some of the sort of foresight you've had to change formation and get the players in has been quite remarkable. I straight up, I would not have thought of that. I'd still have been committed to wingers. I'd have still been committed to some of the other players. So you've done well there. I do think DM potentially is kind of much of a muchness from Ambrosini to Simeone, Gravison, etc. Prutton at centre half, obviously a worry, but as you've alluded to, Stam's injured, etc. And up top, Vieira and Crespo should be banging. I suspect it might not be, but on the whole, it's an improved team from last season. Absolutely.
Well, I hope I can get those two to me. I've kind of gambled a lot on them to actually doing the business. Let's proceed to the match. Thanks, Al. And now we are at Haji's Walton Casuals. Transfer business for them has not been as much, but Hersey looking good. That looks absolutely fantastic in my opinion. Lowerson, Christoph, Sylvester van der Vaart and Donati all come in. Not lost anyone major in my opinion. Ayala, some people really love. Ian will probably tell me how much he loves him because he signed him. And Brett Emerton, but I think he was his second choice in that position. And this is how they line up tonight, Ian.
Strong as ever. I still don't think he's solved the AM position. I think he'd be the first one to admit that because he was asking, wasn't he, midweek, if someone could send him a screenshot of Hersey. And that's what he's gone with because I think he feels like that's all he's got. Donati got off me, goes straight in. He's got those dynamic attributes with his pace. So he'd be looking for Donati to get forward. He lost a couple of top centre backs, a couple of top DMs, but he still looks pretty strong there. He's another one who needs to keep certain players fit. I'm looking at Z Roberto because he hasn't always, had a good run of health, and he needs goals from Clivert. Otherwise, he's got Ronaldo to come in, hasn't he?
Yeah, I don't think Ronaldo's as bad as that, and I'd be thinking of playing Ronaldo in that attacking
He just
midfield
doesn't seem
role.
to rate him, does he?
Yeah,
He's one for the bench to cover AM and forwards. He never seems to get in the team.
Yeah, but Donati, he's very early on, isn't he? And he doesn't blossom in the places you want him to as a midfielder. Like, I don't think his passing ever gets above about 13, and his creativity might not be up to much.
It's just more a case of getting bottom forward, isn't he? And I know he's had great numbers out of him in the past, maybe season 3, season 4s, which is why I sort of dangled Donati there for him to take.
I'm not a Donati fan, but I don't want to go too much into this because I'm playing against him and he definitely will score. Yeah, I've just had to double check on, make sure everything's right. Obviously, first week against a kind of a human whilst being in charge, I feel a bit like making sure everything's bang on. Fulchester versus Casuals, honest opinion on results, lads? Ian?
I think
Fulchester
1-0.
To be honest, I fancy Fulchester for this one. By the odd goal, I'm going to go 2-1.
Back up.
Yeah, Fulchester 1-0.
Right, let's do this. I'm actually really nervous now. Crespo missing a chance early doors there. Frey making a save there. Clivert involved. Nedved with Fury. Veron. Oh, God, here we go. Hersey on his debut answering that question for you, Ian. There's Nakata off the post. Come on,
what a boy.
I had a few offers for him in the summer, actually, so I'm kind of... Oh, here we go. I'm kind of glad I didn't... this is...
What a game.
I said I was hoping for goals. Maybe not this many so early. But here we go, big shagger. What is going on? Big shagger with the second goal in 35 minutes. Sorry, there's a lot happened there. A lot happened. I felt like every shot was going to go in then. I said I was hoping for goals. I did not expect that many. And it's been fairly even as well. 9 shots from Fulchester versus 8 for Casuals. I'm out of breath, man. It's been obviously at home here. I feel a little bit like, I don't want to celebrate too much there. I'll quick look at Steve. I don't know if Hodges about. I'll put his on screen first. Silvestre playing well at the back. Buffon throwing a 5. Never a good sign when your keeper's on that kind of run. Donati mentioned pre-game. I think he got the goal, but he didn't get the goal, but he's on a 6. Hersey and Clivert with the goals. Ian, on Casuals, what do you think?
It's not an awful lot you can do when you've got that goalkeeping performances. I mean, I say it every week when I'm on comms. Like, Buffon is the best keeper in the league, and if he's having a 5, then you're in trouble. Not an awful lot you can do. Even if he goes and scores 3 in the second half, he's probably not going to keep that at 4, is it? We talked about your strike force. I mean, on paper, 4. If you extend it to Batistuta and Owen, those 4, they're ahead of probably anybody's. You've worked wonders in the market, and it looks like you have got them firing.
Oh yeah, Macca, you got rid of Buffon. You wanted to get rid of Buffon because he kept fucking up in the old Fulchester. That right?
Yeah, but I never did. Do you know what? Buffon was, in the 30 games I played a season, he was great for fucking 26 of them.
He was always great. You were always hammering him.
The 4 where I needed him to just not be a dick, which was generally against Burn in a playoff or Greaves in a playoff. He was a dick and would drop a 4 or a 5.
Have either of you two? Oh, I know, Ian. Sorry, you're not in the chat. Mac, have you seen Hodgie anywhere at all? I can't see anything.
No, not at all.
I'm just conscious. I want to give him a couple of seconds just in case he does want to do anything.
Tato's trying to lob darts, which is obviously going to push back our next drink date between the 3 of us. So he's playing a dangerous game there. And I know what he's going to do. The next time I do arrange to meet Tato for a pint, he's going to be purposefully 10 minutes late and then go, "Oh, sorry, I was just on the database." All right, ha.
I'm not getting anything from Hodgie, so I'm going to roll to 60.
I don't think he's here, to be honest.
He sometimes goes quiet though, and then doesn't think he say much. So Alex coming forward, Zambrotta, Vieira, another effort there. Decoa. penalty for them. Sorry, Chinsky. Oh my God,
That's what
I'm
you
not
do,
enjoying this. I am not enjoying this game. Oh, tactics.
Managed to get into it, Ryan. Well, he's not here, so you're going to have to roll, aren't you, for him?
Yeah, unless he's got anyone who's really badly on condition. No, not too bad there, so I'm just going to roll with that. Fulchester. I'd really want to take fucking Seb Frey off because I'm just nervous. Alex come off for Janino.
What made you pick JP up? Like, I'll be honest with you, I don't understand that transfer.
Oh, sexy bastard Jens. What made me pick Janino? So I was short in midfielders, and I was doing heaven forbid me on one of the old saves. I created Fulchester. I created a few teams, and PPP beat me 2-0, and Janino scored both goals. So I messaged Rob and said, Saha for Janino, and he said, yeah. So it was pretty much I don't want him scoring against me. So, right, 20 minutes to go. I'm very, very nervous. I'm just going to continue. It's 4-3. Frey making a save early doors, so he's going to score here. Oh, he's going to score. I know he's going to score. Why am I slowing this down? I'm not seeing anything come through on the chat. Hopefully everyone's just watching and enjoying this. And
people are enjoying your torture, aren't they?
Probably, yeah.
Welcome back.
Oh, Clive wide, thank you. Oh, God. So on a home save, I'd definitely go on men behind ball here, just because I'm nervous. Self-harm live stream, says Timble. It definitely is, mate. It's horrible. Please. Oh, why? David Prutton. Oh, not last kick. Corner. Yes, David Prutton, yes.
Well done, Ryan. Have that.
I'm out of breath. And I mean, a couple more on target from me. What a game.
Absolute slugfest.
Yeah.
You don't want too many of them in a season, do you?
No. Heart attack games, definitely. And yes, a good start back. Nedved signed and got a 10 there. 2 goals from Vieri. Crespo, solid as well. He got the assist. Nedved got
Simeone, absolute monster in midfield.
Yeah. He's back. Well played. A few people saying there. Thank you very much, gents. Quick flick over to casuals. Hersey picking up a 10. Getting the goal. Obviously, Soricinski got another assist coming from Clivert and Decor. Anything to comment on casuals, lads? I think they're going to be sound this year, aren't they?
Yeah, they're just unlucky with that game. We thought it'd be close anyway. We're saying 1-0. You've still won by 1. Not a bad performance away to a reinvigorated Fulchester there. So yeah, Hodgie will be fine this season. That's a decent performance.
Right, thank you very much, gents. We've got 2 games left, and we're going to leave Ian till last, and that means we're going to Michael Savage. Unlucky tonight, the Stanley Michael. Astor, not going to go too much into the transfer dealing because it's been well aired throughout the last couple of weeks. He's a man who doesn't like his arrows. I'm going to stick with Maka for this one. What do you think, mate?
What does Mike know about this game that the rest of us don't? Like, is it like everything seems to be like purposefully unusual, and I don't get like the lack of arrows because that forward runs in my head. The system's quite simple. It will just chuck Edmundo to FL, Perez to FR, for example. I mean, some of the transfers done, I really don't want to dwell on it because I'm in a good spot mentally at this point in my life. So otherwise, I'll just lose my shit. Locatelli.
Do you reckon I've done it right there, Edmundo, Locatelli, Perez? I think I have, and I
can't. I mean, don't get me wrong, right? We obviously saw Mike spring a few sort of surprises in the cups and stuff last year, and he did improve after he took over from Alf. But I still just don't. I don't get what he's doing. Like, what's the theme? What's the gimmick? Like, is it just to try and win each game by being as bizarre as possible? Like, is he the gold dust of Super League? Like, what is it?
Yeah, I don't. I think he said a thing. Locatelli should be LC, so you're probably right. Right, I'll wait for Mike to confirm either way. I think he said he's relatively new to the game compared to a lot of us. He started playing a couple of years ago, so he's still feeling his way through. Ed
Hang
left
on,
looking.
how's anybody in the mid-30s not played this game until now?
I think he's kind of come to it later, probably because of his friendship with Rodeo, I assume. Well, let's look at some of the business for Boostown though, because I feel like we've put that one to bed. Casillas, Samuel, Enrique brought in, as is Popular Monarchy, but and Brett Everton. I feel like everyone he's signed, maybe with the exception of Mark Viduka, is a big player and probably will start most games. Players he's lost though, Frey and Net, Kaladza, Ekiog, Van der Vaart, and Kieran Dyer. Kieran Dyer being absolutely massive, as Fifey would tell everyone. Ian, what do you think of his business and his lineup tonight?
His business has been really good. I think similar to Tortuga Celtics. I think he seems to have got 11. He's got a strong 11, and then what's behind it? I was having a chat with him in DMs the other day, and I was having a go at picking his 11. I wasn't far off with what he was personnel wise. I was struggling 12, 13, 14, 15. I don't think there's an awful lot behind it, but he has assembled a very strong looking starting lineup.
Right, I agree completely. I think his first 11 does look fantastic. It's it's the depth which could be an issue. I think what I said for Astor was all right. Edmundo left, Locatelli, Perez. Right, that's right. So I think we're ready to kick off on this one. Look at that sexy bastard there.
Not even
All right, mate.
I thought that was Luke Shaw.
And you've got you wait till next week. Do you have Ian Edwards playing table tennis though?
Well, if we're doing that, I'll get my silly stick and ball game photo for you tomorrow.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be one of you on there somewhere, Mac. I didn't really pick one out yet. Predictions, gents.
I actually don't know because I personally I don't think Tato's lined up in the best formation either. But I can see Tato nicking this.
Right, 1-1 from Ian. Mac is going for a sneaky Boostown victory. Well, they scored after 2 minutes. 100 career goal, I think I spotted there. Perez has just missed, though. As Aymar involved, Agahawa coming in the left. It looks like a lot of badges this early doors. There's Enrique. I don't know the pronunciation of them. Swieczikowski or something like that. No idea.
What's the collective name for badges?
A
Boothstown.
An arse party of badges, I believe. I'm going to start with Astor Athletic Ian. Not created too much. I'm not clicked on stats yet. 5 for badges, 2 and just 1 on target.
I haven't got one yet, have you? But obviously, Eleftheropoulos is playing a blinder already, and he's needed to. I don't know what Van Bommel's doing. Who's he passing to? Because he's getting old. He's the only one who seems to be knocking the ball about. Maybe him and West a little bit. So maybe it's not forward runs. Maybe it's a game of keep ball. I think I'm going to shoot myself in the foot here, but I think the reason I think they're struggling is because they've potentially got the worst front four that's ever played Super League, and that probably includes my time at Tech Troopers season 4.
I'll be honest with you, I don't think you're wrong.
They're probably going to go and score 3 goals second half now. It's just like, it looks static, doesn't it? It's like I can't get my head around how static it looks, but he knows what he's doing, as we always say.
Tato's already said he's going to roll to 60, but yeah, everyone looks pretty healthy. It's a setter. I've never heard of that. I'm just going to continue to 60.
Well, sorry, me and Doug are discussing. Oh, a setter. Oh, yeah. So a set is the home of a badger, and a sete or set or whatever is a collective name for them.
It's not an arse party, though. I'm pretty sure it was an arse party or a tuberculosis of badgers. Gustavo Lopez is the obvious option, isn't he? Can play on the left-hand side.
Yeah, and he's just said that. He's just confirmed that.
Has he? Clever, yes. Clever lad. Agahawa there playing left back. And we'll continue to 60. banana shots going in, penalty claims, Gustavo Lopez. Looks like a lot more boost tone, but there's Brown. Perez has a go at goal. Perez's name has been mentioned a couple of times, so Good Johnson couldn't escape. We're back with Asta 6s, 8s, 9 for Van Bommel there. Matt, Ian, not doing as bad as you thought, maybe. Condition looks pretty solid. Any changes you would make, Macca?
Yeah, do you know what? I've seen this a few times tonight as well, that people, and I'm sure it doesn't mean anything on the game, but maybe it's just from my point of view. But like West is a DLC and Brown's a DRC. So why would you not have West on the left and Brown on the right? I don't know.
West's actually right-footed though, isn't he? He's a DLC.
He is, but that's obviously his preferred position. Like, and I think Tato's got 2 left-footed centre halves as well. But I'd be looking to mix it up and bang some arrows on if you're allowed to in this new iteration or whatever. But
I think you can, yeah.
Like Gianni Kedda should be fucking nowhere near like the pivotal role of a Super League team. He just shouldn't.
Right, we've got some changes from thingy. Right, so can I see what Loca's rating is? Who's Loca? Locatelli's rating is a 6, mate. Savage. Rick Millington says get Inzaghi on for Bridges. What we're going to do is Tato's first though, because he's here, and it is Joey G to CM alongside Armour. Sorry, let's switch those back. Centralise the 2 AMC behind AMC. That's pretty simple. No changes to the actual lineup. So I can minimize that and I can click OK. And then we go to Asta and we're going to do Locatelli for Donovan. Interesting. And Michael Bridges seems to have kept his position for the remainder of the game unless there's an injury. Even Mr. Fife in the background there. Let's continue this. So we have another goal. Actually, not too many goals because my heart after that last game is not in a good place. Perez seems to have having a few efforts for Asta. I think he's looking the most dangerous of anyone. Edmundo skipping past people. Asta creating a little bit here. Slow it down just while there's 1 goal in it. Emerton near post. Aymar into the penalty area. Gustavo Lopez on the volley misses the target. Last couple of minutes. Is it going to be a losing start for Mike Savage this season? Asta. Is Boost Town Badgers going to try and get above 10th after 95 minutes? We've had the final whistle. What do you think, gents? Has to come back into it a little bit, didn't they, Ian?
Yeah, I think, from the back to the middle, very, very solid. Just nothing up front really to cause Booth Town enough problems. I mean, Bridges ahead of Inzaghi is a bit questionable. There's a few questions being posed there. Is what he does next week, because there is some good stuff there, isn't there? It's just whether you stick with it or, I mean, he's one for changing it around, isn't he? I mean, we never get the arrows, but we do get a variety of formations. The average rating's great. Just never felt like they were going to get anything out of the game.
Yeah, I tend to see they didn't like they're going to score. Robert Perez definitely the biggest threat. Mr. Rodeo Bibbin saying a lack of corners lost it for you. We click over to Boost Town Badgers, Macca. Tato says he's learnt lessons. What do you think of his performance? If you've got the victory away from home in the Super League, you've got to be happy, haven't you?
Yeah, but it's against a team that are, without using the buzzword at the minute, in transition. I'd be playing Aymar at a sort of left centre midfield with an arrow diagonally into a hole, that kind of thing. That seems to be where you get the most out of him. I think there's the bones of a very good team there. I do worry about squad depth, but if Tato can maybe approach a bit more, conventionalism.
Who's this guy, by the way?
Even a word. I don't know. He loves a good wank player, doesn't he? Somebody like, he's -2 intrinsic times potential ability divided by current ability equals actual. Fuck off.
Yeah, he's got 4 for heading. He went up for 5 of them and didn't win a single one. So that's.
I don't get it. I just don't get it. But within that, there's enough decent names and enough, potential for a decent formation that will see him actually properly challenge for the playoffs, unless he does his usual Tato thing of sign some nonsense, play some nonsense, and then moan why he finishes 8th.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tato, I love you, mate, but like you're the architect of your own downfall every season.
Yaroslav Swiatochalski, I'm going to go with, is the pronunciation. It's probably an absolute bastardization. Tater saying he played better than Aymar. And we move on to our final game of the season. It's Northern versus the Vikings. We'll start with the away side, Macca. So you're in here. Players in: Paolo Cannavaro, Romeo Dabo, D'Alessandro, Compe, Carew, Biscan, Robben, who looks really great. Not.
That's an odd one. The whole only save I've ever seen in my entire life of Robin being shit is this one. Is a bit weird, but it is what it is. I feel like Jens is, to be honest, again, love the guy, but he's weakened his overall squad here. Not sure what the idea was behind it, but I can see Jens maybe just not clinging to his usual 6th place on goal difference type scenario this year.
He's kind of said.
Oh, hang on. Whoa, is that the colour scheme or are them circles a bit?
No, it's the colour scheme, that, mate.
Is it?
Yeah.
Speaking of which, you know what? Just a general shout out. Is it me, but on every home save ever, Ipswich are notorious bastards for widwobbing. Like, fuck. Like, all 11 of them are at it. Ipswich are the worst defenders, followed closely by Sunderland, and then Man United under David O'Leary.
Jens saying Cannavaro captain. Thanks, Jens. It's definitely not a wib bob. I've not really noticed specific teams wib bobbing. I've just answered to Rick Millington. I think he's at Haggis, is out of our record, but he's nowhere near the first team. I might be wrong there, so please correct me if I am. It's an interesting lineup. I think I kind of leaning towards you. I think Jens said himself he'd be happy with 10th position. I think they'll be in the run. I loved SIE. They'll be in a run for the playoffs, but might just miss out this time round. Totti suspended this game, and Kaka with a slight knock. I don't think he's a regular starter for the Vikings, though. And yeah, I'm assuming that's all right. And then we move over, Ian. You can check everything's all right here. I'm pretty certain it is. You probably have to pick a goalkeeper, a captain, which you definitely pick someone in this save. I don't know why it's not saved.
ZLAS was captain.
Yeah. Barry Ferguson, obviously the kind of the highlight, but obviously some big names: ALIS, Joe Cole, Saviola, David Beckham. Dejan Betkovic played well in the cup last week. You've not lost too much, in my opinion. Cristiano Zanetti, big loss there for you, Ian. Rui Costa, Luciano Zeri, Martin Lewison's an interesting one, and obviously in the big deal with Elias and Beckham, Damiano Tomasi. Talk us through what you were kind of going for with your deals this summer. Is it just a straight, I just want to improve in as many positions as possible?
I wanted to fatten the squad up a little bit. I mean, I was a bit disappointed to lose Rui Costa because he absolutely bossed the last back end of the season for us and saw us through the playoffs. But I was able to get in a couple of squad guys: Saviola for the bench, Beckham for the bench. One of them features tonight because Barry Ferguson got injured after 3 minutes on his debut, so that could be a bit of an issue. I think Ayala I wanted in as a starter. He cost me Lawson, who was a sub. So not happy with it overall.
Petkovic on international duty would have started tonight. Is that right?
He would have done. I picked him, didn't I? So I realised he was on international duty. Thanks for that. He would have started his 2 cup. He got a goal in both the cup games, which was nice. But hopefully I can cope without him. I mean, Harry Kewell is the big hope, isn't he?
He's the big hope.
Ian, I don't mean to be difficult with this, but if you don't go back to back here, questions need to be asked. I mean, you've absolutely, you should be doing time for the robberies you've committed there in that transfer market. This league should be over by game week 20. You should be 19 points clear by that point.
I've been there before, where like I've won one, and then next season I've like been doing really well for the first half of the season, and fallen off a cliff. You never know.
Hello.
This is
kicked it off, and Penza's actually turned up for the Vikings, which I think Jens was pretty not too happy with that. He didn't do too often last season, but Beckham has fit back after 14 minutes.
Beckham is good on this game. I don't know where the myth has come in that he isn't.
I don't know. I hate the red and blue colour scheme. I don't really banned in any future.
It's genuinely hurting my eyes.
Elias involved there. Looks like it's been a bit of both sides, really. As you can see, there are 3 shots from both sides, 3 on target for Byrne, 2 for the Vikings. Having a quick look down the pitch, looks like you're slightly ahead on tackles, but slightly behind on headers, Ian. Ador free kicks onto Impenza at the goal. I'm going to go to the Vikings first, if you don't mind. Pretty solid first half away from home at Northern Byrne, Macca. I think he should be relatively happy.
Yeah, very solid. Again, Robin flattering to deceive. I mean, I actually don't know why he signed him, given it was an open secret. Something went on with his potential ability, whatever the randomizer aspect is in the database. I mean, that bench is not brilliant. I mean, Justin Walker's actually low key fantastic, but there's not much he can change here. So I probably roll, and it's not a bad performance away at Byrne, all things considered.
Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Doing really well. And apart from Kiotis, you've got to be pretty happy with your performance, Ian.
So far, so good. Yeah, caught cold at the start, but we'll go as is, mate.
Go as is till 60. Let's roll then. I won't click on anyone. That's math means for tonight, mate. Do not click on anyone. Oh, and there. Oh, no, it doesn't. I thought Maxim did, but no, he doesn't. 56 minutes ago. I'll try and stop it in a second. Sizalco again, high into the stands, and there we are on 61 minutes. I really have to get used to that. So 7s and 8s, the odd 9 for Montero. Ian, no one looks to be particularly struggling in terms of fitness. Any transfers, any substitutions at 60?
No, thanks, mate.
No, thank you. Let's move over to the Vikings. So there's a bit of a variation here, 6s, 7s, and 8s. Again, everyone seems pretty solid in terms of condition. Let us know if you'd like to make any changes. Robin's the one who kind of jumping out to me, and D'Alessandro, like you're not really joined the party as much as some other players have. I'll say, but again, do you have much to come in? Bart Gore played well last season. I don't know. What would you do, Macca?
Do you know what? I'd probably be taking Desai off, bringing Justin Walker on, chucking Walker on at MC, and then just seeing what that does. I'd be giving Walker a run. I mean, I actually think Justin Walker adds more to a team than Kerr, potentially, in terms of the old lower league centre midfielders, but...
I've never really known too much of Justin Walker, but it's 70 minutes gone. It's 1-1. Just go for Robin was the only change for Vikings. Here we go.
Yes, taxes.
And Maxim Sizalco. It's 2-1 with 10 minutes to go. I'm just going to keep it on fast speed going into the last 5 minutes. Can Vikings get back in the game? And Penza, Mike Duff. Someone's held the ball. But then it's gone into nothing happening mode. Jeremy's to Addo, D'Alessandro, Penza offside. Something's happening here. Beckham free kick went over the bar. And there we are. Congratulations, Ian. Unlucky to Jens. Northern Byrne start as they mean to go on with a victory, 2-1. In your usual position behind the chair there, Ian. Relief at the result. A little bit underwhelmed with the performance.
I thought it was going to be one of them nights when Sigalko got his first one disallowed, but just hold steady. And I feel a bit for Vikings because they probably deserved something from that game.
Yeah, I think 4 on target to 2, but yeah, very, very tight, very, very tight. Jens is saying, well played in the usual Chizalco goal done us again. Quick look at Northern Byrne stats, a 10 from Montero, Ian, absolutely delightful. And
it's funny, I don't say the Beckham goal did him though, did he? It was scored 2, but it was the Sigalco one that did him, not the Beckham one.
Well, I mean, you've got to follow the narrative, Ian. You surely know this. If there's a narrative going, then you've got to follow it.
Right, but Ian, who scored the winner? Who always scores the winner?
Fair enough. We sent it back against man of the match though, yeah? 1-man team.
Yeah, I'll say 14 tackles, 12-1, 9 key tackles. Ayala didn't do too bad either. 7 out of 9 tackles, 1 and 5 of them key. Absolutely sterling performance from those two at the back. Amazing that Ayala only got a 7 in my opinion. Yeah, with Sizalco, he only won 4 of his 10 headers, but the key ones, and no doubt 2 of those are on target and 1 of them's a goal. It just is what it is, isn't it, with Maxim Cesarco? He's always there and he's always on target. A quick look at our Norwegian friends. Maka Cannavaro putting in a good performance.
Yeah, but Desai a little bit anonymous there. I mean, to put in 17 tackles and only win 5 suggests he's been bullied a little bit. And given it was Cole and Kuehl at AM, that's mental. Cannavaro's done well. Cannavaro's always class on this game. So for Cannavaro and Clompe should be brilliant at the back. Rest of it though, just a little bit lackluster. Again, the Robin thing. We all know Robin's defunct on this save for whatever reason. So why trust him?
Well, he's bought him, man. You can't buy him and not play him.
I wouldn't have bought him. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Right. There we are. We have got through it, gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us. Let's have a quick run through of the results. Aston 0, Boostone 1, Bostock 0, Haggis 0, Dragons 0, White Rose 0. Now 1 goal from those first 3 games there, and then 7 Fulchester 4, Casual 3, and that's where my heart attack happened. I'm still recovering from it now. I definitely thought Casual was going to equalise there. Gazelles 2-1 over the Tortuga, Northern Burn 2-1 over Vikings, and PPP 1, East Coast 2. I mean, East Coast 9 men, East Coast. Tato keen to point out he's in the playoff spots. So it's Montero, Nedved, and Hersey with the early season 10s. Anyone get 2 goals? I can't remember. Oh, Christian Vieri got 2 goals. Is there anything that any of you guys want to see this early in the season? Apart from Alf.
Just more failures from particular teams I don't like, to be honest.
Which teams don't you like, Macca?
Well, Boostown can consider themselves added to that list. Anybody else who fucking J Cartwright's over a database. In fact, basically everybody except sort of Vikings, Fulchester, and Haggis, maybe. Oh, and Bostock. No, Bostock as well, because I like Scott and Swan's a good lad. But yeah, other than that, everyone else can fuck off. Oh, and Edwards, actually, you can.
No, I'm in the fuck off.
You can because of your transfers. You can because of your transfers, mate. Come on.
It's great though, isn't it? It's like I know some of the offers that your friend Ryan's put into people, but I'm a transfer bully and Ryan's just done great business.
And you know what? And this is where maybe I was even naive or had too much on it. I'd only ever go for players I deemed similar quality to the ones I were going for mine. And they were generally positional changes, which is why, aside from doing a bulk of deals at the start of this iteration, I very rarely actually did them. Unless it was to freshen up the squad.
I'm completely honest about I approach transfers. I went for players I wanted, and I went for players which I thought I might be able to get by offering players that are slightly worse, but might be liked by that person. You mean I don't think that I went for. If I'd have picked up on that Savage doesn't really rate Barry Ferguson, then yeah, I'd been scouring my reserves for someone to give to him. But obviously, Ian picked up on that one. Ones, do you mean? I mean, you've got to go for what you think's available, and yeah, and as much as a chair in my old kind of vein, you kind of want people to wait for the rules to be announced and everyone gets a fair crack at it. But if you miss the boat with transfers, you miss the boat. Do you mean that those 5 of those players that you want have actually already gone to another club? So you've got to be early with it. So I got
deals that haven't worked out as well, haven't we? I've done loads of deals that haven't worked out, so it's just swings and roundabouts, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. Jens sticking to the habit of a lifetime redraft and Campbell to run. It's one of my personal favourites.
What was the phrase from Martin? I guarantee that will not happen, or something.
And Campbell will not be good.
Don't worry, it won't be Campbell.
Yeah,
don't worry about it. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Yeah. I'll be honest with you, I've been a bit nervous tonight. What do you call it? Getting back into this, obviously, I've not done this for a while, but I think it's gone relatively well. I will get a bit smoother at it over the following weeks that I'm doing it. But thank you very much for joining me, gents. Thank you very much for everyone being in the chat and being so nice. And yeah, so after the first week, Fulchester at home again to White Rose. Ian, you're at home to Dragons. PPP versus the Vikings both lost tonight. Any ones that are standing out to you there?
Yeah, for me, actually, the Astor Haggis, I think, will be a tasty little match. And Gazelle's Casuals, I reckon, could be a humdinger. The rest, I'll be honest with you. I think. No, sorry. Did I say Asta Haggis? I thought it was Tato Haggis. Sorry. No, forget. Oh, that'll be shit then.
I think the Bostock one's a big one because like he starts
Yeah.
off with 2 home games. You really want to be winning at least one of them. So
I would say actually the sort of 3rd, 4th, and 5th games. Oh, actually no, Burn Dragons. That's a belter, or should be a belter. So yeah, Bostock Coast, Gazelles Casuals, Burn Dragons would be the 3 I'd be keen on watching.
Yeah, I'm not looking. I'm just I hate it.
I mean,
I don't know why.
was a fucking gash, Ryan. You should batter them.
I don't know why I came back to the Super League. I really hate it, honestly. Thank you very much to everyone. Jens getting accusing me of rigging the fixture list now.
Well, we don't play for ages, mate. So
it's not right. In terms of the fixture list, it's not the chairman they need to accuse of rigging it. It's Dimble. He built all this. He built all this. He predicted it. He's the architect of the Matrix. Vis-a-vis.
Vis-a-vis. Right. I'm going back to this one, even though the stream isn't starting soon. Let's put us on screen. Can I do that? How does that work? Here we are. Right. Thank you very much, gents. Really appreciate you joining us. Thank you very much to everyone in the chat. Right. So for everyone in the chat, and I'm going to put a message out on the Facebook page. Might be an early season treat for people. Duggan has got a free Friday and has offered to host a stream on Friday evening. And what do you call it? It's basically up to us lot. If we can all get our teams in tomorrow, end of day, I assume, then we can get a stream on Friday night. So if people are keen on that, Ian, what do you think? If it's not an issue for me, so an issue for you.
I think if I always say if you guys can get the packs out, we should be able to get our teams in. As I think we've got the easy job.
Very good, very good. I mean, your packs will be with you tonight. That's a promise from me. You might get a video rather than the old school loads of screenshots, just because that's what I'm like. But there we are. Need to play Australia first before packs. Our rodeo. Jesus Christ, didn't know that. We might, if you're about for the next 20 minutes after this finishes, I might just do a quick record of the Australia one, and we can put that out tomorrow night. And then, yeah, I don't know. Let me think about that. But if the rest of you,
hang on, Rodeo's saying play it now. Go on, I'll stay on if you're playing it now. I don't have to go to work for another week and a half. Let's go for it. I feel like a teacher. Let's crack on.
Can I do that? I'm just trying to. So let's just let me just see. Let me just kind of click through. You two talk away, gents. I'm going to I'm going to send a link to Rodeo. The same link that I've got. Invite, copy. We might be joined.
He hasn't picked a single Burn player, so I have absolutely zero interest in this at the moment. Until he decides to pick a Burn player, he can.
Is it still reserves only he's doing, or is it anyone?
Or anyone who's forgot to put anyone back in their first team that he's noticed. So we've got a couple of good players in there, haven't we, as well? Some sort of strong potential first teamers that are in there.
Keep talking, gents. I'm clicking through here.
No, I must admit,
Steve offered to let him have any White Rose player.
I offered
at any point in the season.
I offered for that for Fulchester as well.
Right,
Ryan, why?
I don't know. Do you want me to? Do I need to say things about injuries if people? No.
Well, you wouldn't want Nedved getting a broken leg and being out for 8 months, would you?
No,
Who did you give up for Nedved?
Seedorf. That was. I'll be honest with you. That was the Wesley Sneijder to United of Super League, and then it actually happened.
Burn reserves are awful, says Mr. Mega Horse. He's going to join us.
I think Dan and Martin were talking about Seedorf back to Gazelles for ages, and I think I'd initially gone early on last season like, well, Nedved then, because Nedved's always been a Fulchester player in my view. So I think there was only one way that deal was going to work.
No, there was a run last season of about 6 or 7 games where I think Nedved went something like 10, 9, 10, 10, 9, 9. It was absolutely untouchable.
I'd have still wanted him for Seedorf because, I mean, bear in mind, Seedorf for me had something like 7 assists in 9 games or whatever before he got injured. And then Nakata ably filled in.
Class
Nakata's
and
something.
Burn legend.
If Jens is still about, then he just sealed the Ollie Derby deal from Boost Town Badges.
There you go. Dimble knows. Dimble knows he doesn't need a pack. He can see it in binary. Well, he's also a chairman as well. So actually, that is pretty much the same thing.
Dimble won't get the save though now because it's 5-3 at the weekend. So.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Who's he got on comms? Interesting.
I don't know.
Jens, I'll open a bottle of wine and call in sick tomorrow, and that's genuine. But isn't Jens a kindergarten teacher or whatever they call it in Norway?
No, they call them paedophiles in Norway.
No, so that's actually the collective name for a group of Swindon fans.
Oh God! I know.
God, I'll tell you what, I'm a bitter man. I think I'd have been much nicer if I'd have retired with a star. Who knows?
You can come back for the final, Macca.
No, I'll watch from afar, I think. Quite happy to be a spectator. Although games like tonight are much more enjoyable. Because there's nothing, there's nothing affecting you if you lose, but winning 4-3 was tremendous. Because let's face it, I'm not going to support anybody else, am I?
Ian, just while you're on stream, sorry, mate. Lee Chun-Soo wants a new contract, but because he's a hot prospect, I can't actually give him a new contract because they only offers him $2,000 when he wants about 7. Can I just change him to squad rotation? All right. I know you like complete control, don't you? So
yeah, sorry, yeah, that's fine.
No danger. I'll be honest with you, mate. If you weren't on the call, I would have just done that. But
yeah.
No,
I'm more than happy. When it comes to that sort of stuff, I'm more than happy. It's when you come to fire my assistant manager without asking me, that's when I lose my shit.
Duggan checking on that assistant manager there, right?
Oh, I think we've got add to stream. Even Mr. Rodeo.
Good evening. All right.
Oh,
sorry if you've been waiting a while. I do apologise.
Oh no, not long at all.
Absolutely agree with you, Dan. My reserves are awful, and they're all the only good thing about my reserves is that there aren't very many of them.
That is absolutely true. It's the smallest squad, I think. But
that's comes from doing too many 2-for-1s, obviously.
I have what's we're going to say, a restless child. So I will, if I have to jump off at any point, just make the subs.
Just make subs. Have you sent me any information, by the way? I don't have a clue. So you're gonna have to do this on the fly, mate. What do you
right?
want?
Okay, I could pick. So basically, I did send a tactics file in for this game to the Super League account, I believe. I might not have. In which case, play the Vikings formation if it's there. Yeah. So there was a 2-1-4-3 Vikings formation that I had, which might just be able to download it.
This one?
No, it won't be that one. It won't be that
can
one.
Can you edit that? Can you edit that one live? Or?
Not to the best of my effect. It's on the Super League email.
Give me 2 seconds then. That's fine.
Yeah.
There he is.
And I will find my team.
Was that not what he played tonight? I noticed he had an A in brackets on the one he played against me because I assumed you must have two set files ready for a home and away for this season.
When did you send? When did you send the email, Matt?
So it will be the one about the Vikings game from the other day. So it's just basically I'm going to use the same formation I used for the Vikings match. So it's whatever I sent before the friendlies, before the cup.
Vikings revised.
Revisited. That's the one.
Yeah.
So I'll just load up my. I'll find my lineup that I was going to pick for this game. I'm sure I've got it saved somewhere.
This is great content, lads. I really apologise. It should be right in this now.
Yeah, well, this is just go for it as a. Nice bit of fun.
Where is it?
Is it just in your downloads folder at the moment?
No, I've moved it to my tactics folder. Tactics. Evidently not. Where have I put it? There it is. Wrong file.
See if I've got my team here. If not, I'm just gonna make it up as I go along. Might just have to make it up.
Goalkeeper.
So I will just pick. So put Kirkland in goal.
Kirkland in goal. Everyone's 100% fit.
Yeah, we're all
I'm
good.
just going to go back to positions.
I'm interested again now then.
Come.
And we'll go for Risp and Yakubu.
Yep.
Then Carrick. Left mid will be Jafar and Hargreaves left and Jafar right. Yeah. Centre mids will put Shellstrom on the left of the two. And
Kallstrom.
Fernando, yeah, Shellstrom, yeah, that's him. And Fernando on the right of the two. Yeah. And then as my front three, let's put on the left we'll have Cisse, Huntelaar in the middle, and Mendonça on the right. Not Zlatan. No. Huntelaar.
Yeah, I've got it.
Yeah. Cheers. Put Tonton instead of Bruno.
Jesus.
There you are. Cheers.
Captain.
Yeah, go with that.
Owen Hargreaves at left wing.
Yeah, watch him go. Anyone captain no matter. There he is, captain the side.
I'm just back on screen. I see. I'll be in the emails. Champ. There you are. Let's put it back there, and we are going.
Let's see how they get on.
I mean, this is. I didn't expect to be doing this. Didn't expect to be doing this tonight. But there's Yakubu. There's Kallstrom.
Get in. Bonus game.
Yeah. Well, especially if the games need to be played Friday, I thought then these are definitely the ones that need to be done tonight.
Oh.
Yay! Look at that. They're back in it. Missing.
Not too much young defensive talent in Australia, says
No,
Dylan.
the defence is horrendous. I mean, Frederick Risp having to play. Yeah, just shove an Elmander for Cisse.
Is it not? Hang on, is it not like a Georgie Costa or somebody else being blamed, or Regilio Vrede being ignored?
Not in under 21s, no.
Oh, are you only picking under 21s? Is that
This
your
next game? This is the under 21s.
Oh, is it? Oh, fuck! I hadn't noticed. Sorry, I hadn't noticed
Yeah.
that. So you're doing both under 21s and
yeah, I'm doing both because
okay.
otherwise the call-ups will be anyone in the other ones. Look
Wow,
at this,
you've battered them. I mean, Ivory Coast won, Australia StreamYard. What a game!
Any changes?
Tonton for Mendonça and Kennedy, but Bakajolu on the right for Jafar. That'll do.
Thank you.
Yeah. See, we're getting goals. Look at this. Goals. The first team will not do the same because the Ivory Coast actually have some players.
This is incredible.
7-1. That'll do.
That will do.
Clickety click.
And continue.
Viva la Super League.
Oh,
apparently, if you say that at the end of any sort of rant or slagging, that just absolves all sins. It's kind of like, forgive me, Father, Viva Super League, and then you're fine. You say what you want. It's easy. It's kind of like
so the under 21 scored more than Australia
the
scored in the
league
world.
tonight.
I'm just gonna say, I don't know if Rob's still about, but
Marshall, is he full?
No, yeah, I don't think he will be. But the Alex Manninger is happy at Ipswich and doesn't want to come to PPP. Which
Can you
says
explain
it,
Oh, he must
says
have
it
only
now.
just moved because he was at Fiorentina, wasn't he, before?
Right.
Right, here we go.
Same again.
Right,
Same.
okay, same formation.
Tactic.
Yeah, he's not messing about with that. Yeah, I'll make this up as I go along.
Sorry, what's the file called? CM0102 CMSLCTT.
Right. Okay, we'll go for Howard in goal.
Yep.
And then the back two is Baldini and Andrews. No, Mitreski. Let's play Mitreski instead. Yeah. Defensive mid, Auda Camphouse. And on the left-hand side, we will have Boda. On the right is... Who is me right? It's always... what's his name? Emerson.
Emerson.
Yeah, he'll be at top. Then the left of the two midfielders is going to be Semak.
Yep.
And then on the right is Rapala.
Yes, Rapala.
The front three, Vlahovic on the left. We'll have Roberts in the middle and Palermo on the right. But actually swap Vlahovic and Palermo. Yep, that'll do. And sub-wise, we've got Andre, Sanyol, Tonetto, Andrews, Ligvinsky, Redondo, Ledenev, Chaparro, and Jimenez. That'll do.
Boom.
Yeah.
Ledenev horse. Go. Captain is Michael Bode. Yeah.
Look at him go. And Alf. It's a good luck charm, isn't it?
Wib Wob, is it? A bit of Wib Wob there?
They are
very
wib wobbing.
And Ibrahim
Naughty
Bakayoko.
bastards, all 10 of them.
Dirty twats.
This won't go as well as the other one,
Huge
definitely.
Ipswich vibes.
Bonaventure Kalu. Sometimes you can sign Bonaventure Kalu in Div 1.
Yeah, on a free, more than likely, because he's a troublesome shithouse. I mean, I must admit, a lot of the players I sign is purely for money laundering purposes and to sell at a profit later down the line. So quite often when I look back at a 20, 30-year dynasty I've had, it's like, oh, you've signed 200 players. I'm like, yeah, but only about 40 of them ever actually played. The rest were purely for making money.
Did you hear about the AC Milan thing that I can't remember what team it had been, Atletico Madrid, where they kind of swap players for 90 million because they could amortize costs the actual players who were bringing in.
Barca and Juve, they did it with the
that was it.
Conditions
Arthur and Pjanic or whatever. They
that
basically overvalued the assets, didn't they?
Good to 60. We're fine.
Good to 60, sorry.
Yeah. Make 3 changes then, regardless of who's doing well.
Well, it's all right. Guillaume Balaguer wants a handout from the Premier League. Fuck off.
Guillaume Balaguer.
Yeah, just, Barcelona have activated an economic lever. All right, it's not a game of Sonic.
Right, let's put Ledenev right in the middle instead of Roberts.
Yep.
Let's have Redondo for Parla.
Parla's playing well, mate. Parla's running the game.
Oh, yeah, but this is all right. All right, well, all right then. Swap.
I'm joking. I'm not doing it. It's done now. It's done.
Mitreski's going to get pulled for Andrews.
Yes, that'll do.
Andrews for Mitreski.
Yeah, Andrews will get a nice red. Yeah,
you can do more, mate. You can do some more.
I'm all right with 3. I'm good with 3. Yeah.
Matter of opinion, mate. But there we are.
You've got your packs to put out. Look at that. Wooder will be delighted that Ledenev's getting a cap.
Another goal there. I can't spot who it was from.
Was it Boulder? Or was he involved in the goal?
Oh, it's non-stop. Palermo, I think.
Ah, nice. Yeah.
And there we are.
Comfortable.
Hammered them. Yeah, all done and dusted. Congratulations. Oh, sorry, Ian.
10 goals scored.
Yeah. Screen. Yeah. Right, gents. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you very much for last minute, Mr. Mega Horse. Sub for an audience of 1 there. Okay. So yeah, I shall do my best to get the packs out as soon as possible. Thank you very much for everyone joining us, and Viva the Super League. Welcome back to everyone, and I shall see you all soon.
Good job, Ryan. Cheers.
Cheers, Ryan. See you later. That's it. Bye.
Bye.